Hello, my dear Salemite, those of us who spent decades glued to our screens, hearts pounding through every twist of fate in the sun-drenched streets of days of our lives. I'm your host here at Salem Scoop Central, unofficial heartbeat of PHAC's longest-running soap opera. And if you've been nursing a coffee while scrolling through fan forums, you know the air is thick with speculation right now. It's February 2025. As I peck this out on a foggy morning and Uri feels a little more headway 6, but one thing remains as constant as the hourglass sands, our undying love for the drama that unfolds in that fictional Midwestern town we call home. Today, we're diving headfirst into the rumor mill, the leaked scripts, and the gut-wrenching possibilities surrounding two of the show's most elusive leading ladies, DiMera and Allie Horton. We'll later into cinema, familiar the fireworks, buried secrets, and of tears to flood the Kiriakis mansion. Buckle up, because this isn't just a prediction piece, it's a love letter to the chaos that makes DOOL our addiction. Let's unpack it all, layer by scandalous layer, and see if we can't manifest these returns with the sheer force of fandom will.
First things first. For the uninitiated though, who are we kidding? If you're here, you're probably more invested than Roman in a Brady family barbecue. Let's rewind the clock on these two firecrackers who carry the weight of the DiMera legacy like it's a crown of thorns. Sydney Lauren DiMera, born in 2009 amid one of the most harrowing storylines in soap history, the baby switch that saw her stolen from Sammy Brady and handed over to DiMera's scheming ex. Nicole Walker has always been the fragile heart of the show's maternal maelstroms. Remember that gut punch reveal? Sammy, played with ferocious grace by Alison Sweeney, clawing her way through grief and rage, only to reclaim her lost daughter in a courtroom scene that had us all ugly crying into our popcorn. Sydney wasn't just a plot device, she was the embodiment of Sammy's redemption arc, the innocent thread weaving through the tapestry of lies spun by the DiMeras. Fast forward 3 years of off-screen growth, Sydney's been aged up in that magical soap way, now a young woman in her late teens, navigating the shadows of her family's empire from afar. Her last on-screen flicker was a heartbreaking cameo during the 2022 EJ-Sammy reunion, where she whispered lines about missing the chaos of Salem before vanishing into the ether. But absence makes the heart grow fonder. Or in DOOL terms, it brews a storm. Enter Allie Horton, Sydney's half-sister and the wild child who could give Sammy a run for her money in the impulsivity department. Allie short for Allison, but let's be real, she's always been the Allie who crashes through doors like a Category 5 hurricane. Debuted in 2020 as a fully grown firebrand, courtesy of Another Time Jump sorcery. Conceived during one of Sammy's more adventurous flings with EJ, Allie burst onto the canvas with demonic possession vibes. Yes, really thinks. Johnny DiMera's devilish detour and a penchant for stirring pots that haven't been stirred since Stefano's heyday. Portrayed with smoldering intensity by Lindsay Arnold until her 2023 exit, and then handed off to Kaylee Speeney in a recast that had fans divided faster than a Horton Town Square debate. Allie jetted off to Europe post-possession, chasing love, lust, and a semblance of normalcy away from Salem's siren call. Her last words on screen, something about finding herself in Paris, but we all know that's code for plotting a dramatic re-entry that'll shatter the Brady-DiMera truce. Off-screen, Allie's been living that expatriate dream. Instagram whispers of croissants and canal cruises, but in the DOL universe, silence like that. It's the calm before the tsunami. Now, why the sudden buzz that these two are poised for a prodigal return? It all stems from a tantalizing crumb dropped in the December 2025 episodes, amid the fallout from DiMera's latest kidnapping saga. Picture this, Dan Furigal channeling that brooding DiMera charisma like a pro. Snatched from the Dimension Gardens in broad daylight by a shadowy cabal tied to the resurgent Phoenix storyline. Stefano's ghost is never truly dead, is it? The rescue was a nail-biter, involving Kristen Stacey Haydock at her venomous best and a helicopter chase over the Salem River that rivaled the old-school action beats. But in the quiet aftermath, as EJ nursed his bruises in the hospital, a nurse's offhand mention of Sydney's panic attacks slipped through the cracks. Not just any panic attacks, mind you, kind triggered by news of her father's abduction, echoing the PTSD from her own toddler-era traumas. Sammy, ever the mama bear, was shown on a grainy video call from Italy, her face etched with that signature Sweeney word-worn ferocity, vowing to bring our girl home if it kills me. Cut to black. Cue the fan theories exploding like confetti at a Horton New Year's bash. This isn't mere Easter egg bait, it's classic DOL foreshadowing, the kind that Corday and the head writers love to lace into dialogue like hidden arsenic. Sydney's return wouldn't just be a hi mom cameo, it'd be a seismic event, ripping open wounds that have scarred over since the baby switch. Imagine Sydney, now a poised young artist because every DiMera needs a tortured creative outlet, landing in Salem with baggage heavier than a Titan Industries merger. Her panic attacks. They'd manifest in visceral, screen-chewing scenes, flashbacks to the nursery abduction, nightmares of Nicole's taunting face, and a desperate need for EJ's approval that clashes headlong with his own guilt-ridden redemption arc. We'd see her seeking solace in the unlikeliest place, made confiding in a surprisingly maternal Gabby Hernandez, or clashing with Johnny Dickey Smothers channeling his inner bad boy over DiMera privileges. And oh, the family support angle. That's where the drama dials to 11. Sammy, fresh off her Italian sabbatical, would morph into overdrive hovering, interrogating therapists, and inevitably sparking a feud with EJ over who gets to fix our broken bird. It's the stuff of soap, gold-layered, lacerating, and laced with love that borders on obsession. But Sydney alone wouldn't satisfy the hunger for Horton-DiMera hybrid havoc. No, the real juice is in pairing her return with Allie's. Sources close to the production, and by sources, I mean that eagle-eyed Reddit sleuth who deciphers casting calls like they're the Dead Sea Scrolls, hint that Allie's European exile is fraying at the edges. Off-screen updates have painted her as entangled in a torrid affair with a mysterious French financier. Think Channel's X vibes, but with more espionage and fewer pastries. Yet, in true Allie fashion, it's bound to implode, sending her packing back to Salem with a secret that could topple empires. Perhaps she's carrying EJ's grandchild, or uncovered a DiMera dirty secret via some black market dossier. Whatever the hook, her re-entry mirrors the prodigal son or daughter arcs that have defined DOOL since the 1960s. Think Hope's returns after presumed deaths, or Will Horton's ghostly resurrections. Sammy's kids have a history of crashing back into town like meteors. Sydney's baby switch resolution in 2010 led to Nicole's downfall and Sammy's uneasy alliance with EJ. Allie's 2020 debut ignited the devil plot that scorched half the canvas. A DOOL return. That's not drama. That's Armageddon and stilettos. Let's linger here on the parallels, because as a lifer who's been watching since Marlena Evans was possessed by the devil, irony noted, I live for these echoes. Remember Sammy's own returns. The woman who once shot her ex in cold blood, poor Franco, has yoo-hooed in and out of Salem more times than EJ's changed wives. Each homecoming peels back layers of resentment. The Brads, Vice, DiMera's feud reignites, old flames flicker hello, potential Sammy Lucas reconciliation, and the town square becomes a confessional for sins long forgiven but never forgotten. Sydney and Allie's tag team rival would amplify that to operatic heights. Picture the airport center clicked. Sure, but in DOOL hands, it's electric. Sammy, arms outstretched in that red coat that screams trouble, as her daughters step off the plane. Sydney, wide-eyed and trembling, clutching a sketchbook filled with dark DiMera motifs. Allie, sunglasses perched like armor, a designer bag slung over her shoulder hiding who knows what contraband. The hug, tear-streaked, bone-crushing, with whispers of I never stopped loving you cutting through the jet-lag haze. But joy in Salem is fleeting. Enter the interlopers. Kristen, sniffing opportunity, would slither in with welcome home gifts laced with poison. EJ, torn between paternal pride and possessive paranoia, might accuse Allie of ulterior motives, and don't get me started on the Brady side. Roman would grill them over Irish coffees at the pub, Caroline's ghost via flashback, naturally dispensing wisdom from beyond, while Belle and Claire orbit like wary satellites, sensing the disruption to their fragile peace. And speaking of Samaya, our queen, our chaos conductor. As of mid-2025, Alison Sweeney bid a temporary adieu to the role that made her a household name, jetting back to Italy not just for Sydney's sake, but to film that long-gestating Sammy's World spin-off. Fingers crossed it gets the green light. The storyline framed it as a maternal pilgrimage. Sammy, post-EJ reconciliation, choosing family over the FBI desk job that never quite fit her rogue spirit. But here's the lifeline for us diehard. Sweeney herself spilled in a Soap Opera Digest interview last fall that she's locked in for recurring guest spots through 2025 and into early 2026. That's not a farewell. That's a feint, the kind DOOL pulls to keep us dangling. Expect Sammy popping in via FaceTime for pixelated pleas from a Tuscan villa, urging her girls to toughen up like a Brady before materializing in the flesh for the climactic family summit. Imagine her storming the dimension, hair windswept from the red-eye flight, demanding EJ fix this mess you started with your damn DNA. The banter, razor sharp. The passion, palpable. Sweeney and Furigal have that chemistry that crackles like dry lightning. Equal parts hate and heat, and a Sydney Allie return would be the perfect storm to unleash it. But let's not kid ourselves. Returns like these aren't just about hugs and heart-to-hearts. They're powder kegs for the kind of drama that earns Emmys and keeps the lights on at Corday Productions. Envision the ripple effects. Sydney's panic disorder storyline could delve into mental health with the sensitivity DOOL has nailed since Marlena's therapy sessions in the 90s group counseling at the hospital, where she bonds with a recovering Tate Black over shared traumas of parental abductions. Wait, is that too on the nose? Never mind, it's perfect. Allie, meanwhile, brings the sex, lies, and scandal. Perhaps she's fleeing a stalker ex with ties to the Vitali crime family, dragging Salem into an international intrigue that ropes in Harris Michaels and his cop instincts. The sisters' dynamic. Electric opposition. Sydney, the introspective dreamer, chafing at Allie's brash act first, apologize with champagne ethos. Allie, rolling her eyes at Sydney's delicate flower routine while secretly envying her unscarred optimism. Throw in romantic entanglements and catching the eye of a reformed Alex Kiriakis, sparking jealousy from a returning Stephanie Johnson, Allie reigniting sparks with Johnny, only for Chanel to throw a wrench in the form of a surprise proposal, and you've got a web of desire that'd make even Victor proud. Fan forums are ablaze with theories, and as your resident editor who's moderated more dual threads than I've had hot dinners, I can attest, the discourse is deliciously divided. Over on Dayscape, the optimists argue this dual return is inevitable by sweeps season May 2026. Mark your calendars, tying into the 60th anniversary bash with a Brady DiMera Bloodlines mega-arc. Pessimists on Soap Central fret budget cuts post-Peacock merger, claiming Sydney's too niche for prime time. Me? I'm in the manifested camp. We've seen miracles before. Nicole's Jungle Exile turning into a ratings bonanza, EJ's multiple deaths birthing fan campaigns that wouldn't quit. If there's one thing DOOL excels at, it's resurrecting the ghosts we love, wrapping them in fresh torment to remind us why we tune in, for the humanity and the hyperbole, the tears that cleanse, the loves that lacerate. So, as the hourglass flips and we edge towards spring 2026, I pose the question that's kept me up nights. Scrolling casting rumors till dawn, will Sammy's two daughters finally grace Salem with their presence? Sydney, seeking sanctuary from her inner storms, Allie, armed with secrets that could shatter the DiMera dynasty, and Sammy, the eternal fulcrum, bridging the gap with her unbreakable if infuriating maternal fire. The signs point to yes, panic attack nod. The European exile cracks, Sweeney's tease of more to come. But in Salem, nothing's certain until the credits roll. Will it be a triumphant family reunion, or a powder keg that blows the town sky high? One thing's for sure, when these sirens sail back in, the drama won't just unfold, it'll erupt, leaving us breathless, begging for more.
What about you, fellow fans? Drop your wildest predictions in the comments. Who's Sydney's first confidant like Jaya, Allie's return to romance, or ignite a new one? And Sammy, full-time or forever the fly in firebrand? Hit play on those classic clips, pour a Salem martini. And let's dissect this together. Until next time, keep ice in the film, the central stuff a lot. Signing off with lies and little Stay dramatic, darlings.